Obama had an interview with George Stephanopoulos on ABC's This Week, and during the interview, there was a little bit of admission on his part regarding why so many Democrats lost in the midterm elections and then, of course, during this past election. In fact, a lot of Democrats started losing after President Obama went into office. Well, here's his answer. Take a look.
What has to be a disappointment on the home front is that it looks like the Democratic Party got pretty hollowed out on your watch. About 1,000 seats lost in the Congress, Senate, governors, state houses. Is that on you?
I take some responsibility for that. I think that some of it was circumstances, and we were just at the beginnings of a recovery. And whoever is president at that point is going to get hit, and his party is going to get hit. But I think that what is also true is that partly because my docket was really full here, so I couldn't be both chief organizer of the Democratic Party and function as commander-in-chief and president of the United States. We did not begin what I think needs to happen over the long haul, and that is rebuild the Democratic Party at the ground level. And so we've got to do a better job of showing up. And I was able to do that when I was the candidate, but I have not seen or presided over that kind of systematic outreach that I think needs to happen.
So President Obama tomorrow is going to give a big speech about his record and how well he did, and I wish he talked about that more when he was president to help Democrats not only get elected, much more importantly, get policy priorities passed. So I think that his record is a mixed bag. It's not a black and white issue. So to say that he didn't do anything right is crazy talk. So he got us out of a war. He managed to get us out of a war with Iran. I think he did a very good deal there. He did do Obamacare, and he had some policy wins. And I actually think he's a very good manager. I don't think he's a very good leader, to be fair, and I'll explain that why in a second. But he's a very competent manager. So, he didn't run up the deficit. In fact, he reduced the deficit greatly. He brought down unemployment, and you have to give him a world of credit for that. The stock market's doing well. That's a mixed bag, but to some degree of credit unquestionably for that as well, okay? So those are all the upsides. When you look at the downsides, though, without getting into all the policy differences, let's just focus here for a second on this topic. The topic is, how did President Obama do for his own party, both electorally and in terms of policy? So, in terms of policy, what isn't going to get hollowed out? So, Affordable Care Act has some upsides, although we as progressives, and specifically on this show, said put a public option in there or any kind of control on prices. If you let private insurance run this thing, they're going to run the prices up. And that is exactly what happened, right? So now the Republicans get to turn around and go, prices are up, we're going to destroy the whole thing, okay? And then on the policies, Dodd-Frank, it was incredibly weak financial reform to begin with. Just calling it historic doesn't make it so. And now that's all gone. Under Trump, that will all be wiped out, okay? So it's on foreign policy, a little mixed bag. I like the Iran thing, et cetera. But, some people are trying to give him credit for getting out of Iraq. Well, actually, Bush signed that order. They were supposed to get out of Iraq. What was he supposed to do, stay for another 8 years? I mean, that would have been an unbelievable betrayal of his voters. So that's not damning with faint praise, if you ask me. But on the issue of electoral success, which then hopefully leads to policy success, it's been, to be fair, an unmitigated disaster. And you actually cannot even make a case to the contrary. The only person who has won consistently as a Democrat under Barack Obama was Barack Obama. So they lost the House, they lost the Senate. Remember, on the day he gets elected, not only do they have the House and the Senate, they had a supermajority. All of it wiped away. The House is gone, the Senate is gone. Not only did the Democrats lose after him, but they lost to the most unpopular candidate in American history. But that's not even the worst part. The states are the worst part. 69 out of the 99 state legislatures are in Republican hands. That is stunning failure. That is gigantic, unprecedented failure. Do you know that under Obama's 8 years, the Democrats at the state level lost 900 seats to the Republicans?
Yeah, look, a lot of that, I agree with you on a lot of what you're saying, but a lot of it does have to do with redistricting and how Democrats did not fight back against that type of behavior. When you have the Republicans push for redistricting that gives them the advantage, right, and creates an unbalanced playing field, well, yeah, of course they're going to have an easier time getting elected. I think that's a huge part of it. But I think the other part of it is what happened during the last midterm elections. How many Democrats did we see put out ads where they're trying to appeal to conservative voters? But there's already a conservative running against you. Why would they go for conservative light? It's like what we see in the media, where a new media outlet comes out and we're like, yeah, we're going to be different and we're really going to change the status quo. And then all they end up doing is becoming CNN light. But we already have CNN and people hate CNN, right?
Yeah. So to that point, it really explains the Obama phenomenon completely, because he's a corporate Democrat. Now, it's not to say he means bad and I'm going to work with Goldman Sachs to ruin the... No, none of that. But the corporate Democrats get funded to not rock the boat. So that's why they won't run aggressive campaigns bragging about their accomplishments and how important it is to be progressive. Instead, they'll do what the donors like, which is, well, come on, we all want to be right-wing. It's just a question of how right-wing. The Republican donors want us to be incredibly right-wing, and the Democratic donors want us to be a little right-wing. So, hey, the Democratic donors want to save the environment, but also maybe cut our taxes, right? So, under that rubric, you have Democrats who don't bother trying. And by the way, I mean, look, the entire Democratic Party is, and Obama is a huge part of this, is enormously selfish. So how do you know redistricting? So they'll redistrict in a way where the Republicans will say, our districts will be 55% Republican, 45 Democrat. That means it's a little bit more competitive. I might lose a race or two, right? The Democrats will say, give me all the voters in my area that are Democrats. It's 85% Democratic. This is a rough explanation, but it has happened all across the country. So that particular Democrat is never going to lose his seat. That is never going to be a competitive seat. But in order to do that, he sucked up all the Democratic voters in the nearby areas, allowing Republicans to win all around him, because he doesn't give a damn. He's a politician, and he thinks, I will sell out my own voters to make sure I personally retain power. Now, Barack Obama, could he have been strong if he wanted to? Because some claim, well, first of all, the Republicans opposed him. No, really? Yeah, that's how it works. You're supposed to fight past that. FDR was so viciously opposed, they plotted a coup against him, literally, right? And he fought past that and got tremendous gains, not only for the American people, but for his own party. The Democratic Party was so strong for 40 years after FDR. Obama's the exact opposite. So, but when it was Obama whose career was on the line, he was as strong as I have ever seen. In 2008, some of the best speeches I've ever seen in my life. That race speech, when he was on the precipice on the Reverend Wright controversy, came out, nailed it. And then I was so curious, because he was so weak as a president for 4 years, how he was going to run his campaign in 2012. Go back and check my videos on that. And I was like, whoa, here's the tiger again. And he ran such a strong campaign that I called it 6 weeks before the election. I'm like, this is not even close. Obama's going to kill Mitt Romney, and he did. When it's Obama that's involved, he's as strong as he can be. But when he needs to help the states, when he needs to fight for progressive policies or Democratic wins, national or state level, can't find Barack Obama. Well, I'm really busy. I'm sitting on my desk. You expect me to be commander-in-chief and the leader of the Democratic Party? Yes, it's not an easy job. Nobody told you it was going to be an easy job. I do expect you to do that. And yes, you're the president. You can delegate. And you can say, okay, here are the guys who are going to be my pipe hitters on this, and here are the guys who are going to carry my blowtorch on that. And let's go get them, right? But he didn't. If your name wasn't Barack Obama, you were so hard-pressed to get Obama to move to help you in any way, shape, or form. And that's the reality. You don't like it. You can hate me for it. But I'm right and you're wrong, because the proof's in the pudding.
Right.
69 out of 99 state houses gone. 900 seats gone. House gone. Senate gone. Trump president. That is a record of, on the electoral level, abysmal failure. If you like this Young Turks video, wait till you get a load of Young Turks membership. So many more shows and no ads at all. Come and see. tytnetwork.com/join.